Hello everybody, welcome back to Wisdom Wednesday. I'm Sir Derpy Creeper, and this is a weekly podcast where I basically talk about things in life that you may not know about or decisions that you can make to make your life better. So the goal with this is to make you a whiz out of making wise decisions and to steam them up to make them even better. I'd like to start off this wonderful, majestic segment to say most of the things I've got are on Spotify now. I don't know all of them that are on Spotify, to be honest with you, since this is recorded. It may be tonight when they all get uploaded, and it may be next week when they get all uploaded. But I can guarantee you, by next week, all my Spotify and SoundCloud will be updated just as much as my Twitch and YouTube will be. So I'll be able to have them all uploaded on the same day. So I think that'll be really cool for next week. So hopefully you can check them out. I'm hoping to get them all up. So it's gonna be all the way updated to Witch Hunt actually. So that's gonna be really cool. So hopefully next week my newest episode will be right on the top, right on there, and not have to worry about basically getting everything up there with how many episodes I've made so far. If you missed last week, we talked about webs. And the thing about webs is that I believe that as much as there's good things in life, there's always bad things in life as well that try to trap you and try to stop you. And I feel like a lot of the times we have an enemy in our life, whether it's like something like people in our lives, events that happen in our lives, even ourselves, or even the devil, all right? All these things are kind of just like things that are traps laid within us, or even outside of us, that we kind of either unexpectedly walk through, we are tempted to look at, anything like that. These traps are there to stop us in our tracks and to get us scared, get us to not move forward. It's to stop us mainly to doing what we want to do in our life to grow. And so I basically talk about the different kinds of enemies that you have to look out for and different things that could help you get through these webs. And I felt like it fit the Halloween aesthetic pretty well. So hopefully you can check it out. It was my last week's segment, and I really recommend it. It's a cool thing to kind of realize that, mentally there's some traps, not literally maybe seeable, but there's traps in different ways. I only call it webs because webs kind of look intricate. They look beautiful in a way because they're so symmetrical. They're so perfect in a way. But you look at something for too long, it looks pretty, it might just come back and stop you and bite you or trap you and keep you in your place. So hopefully you can check it out. That'd be really cool. Anyway, let's get on to our segment. So to fit the Halloween theme, I kind of wanted to go with something that's actually been kind of on my mind, and I was actually going to call it this anyway, but it's Witch Hunt. And you're probably wondering, well, what the crud does witch hunt mean? And I'll explain. All right, so basically, imagine this. All right, old-timey movie. When someone finds out somebody's a witch, for example, what they do is they get a mob together. They get them all together. They get a bunch of pitchforks. They go find the witch. They either go run up to the person's house, or they end up, going as a mob to go and try to kill this witch, which they feel is a monster. They feel like is an evil person, someone who walks in witchcraft and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so I want you to kind of imagine that scenario, all right? And imagine yourself within this group, because a lot of people these days are actually in a group very similar to that, just not an old-timey, no pitchforks, anything like that. It's actually more of internet pitchforks rather than actual pitchforks, if you know what I mean. The thing I want to talk about is cancel culture. And so I've been really wanting to talk about cancel culture, but I didn't know where or what to put it. And Witch Hunt really fits in. So we're going to talk about some things about cancel culture. For some of you may not understand, cancel culture is a thing that has been growing, and I think it's kind of died down a little bit. So I'm happy it's died down a bit. So cancel culture basically is people getting into a certain group when they find out about something or someone had said, or maybe even a speculation of what somebody has said. And what they do is they get a group together, which is a giant group that grows, and they kind of just attack this person's career, go straight up after someone's reputation, kind of destroy something that they work so hard to build up. Now, here's the thing, though. I'm a person who believes in you get what's coming for you as well. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. But cancel culture is basically a thing where if you do something that I'll say the people who are very loud, do not like, you will probably be thrown at that. All right, a lot of people are a part of it, and then they will never let it go. That's their big problem. So I kind of want to touch base on that a lot. The main thing is that I want you to realize that if you are in a cancel culture mindset or heart, I want to kind of help you form yourself out of that in a way. Help you realize, hey, this is the wrong kind of lifestyle. Or to help you avoid even getting into that mindset or heart condition in that first place. So either way, I hope this helps in that aspect. So the first thing I want to talk about is the witch being caught, kind of the aspect. So, like, let's just say, all right, well, we started this witch hunt, all right, which is cancel culture, all right, but the person who we're going after is a literal witch. And by a literal witch, I don't mean actually witch, but metaphorically. They are a witch, and it's confirmed they are. They are a bad person. They built themselves up the wrong way. They are pretty much a horrible person. And so they get what's coming to them. They have a whole mob mentality. Their whole thing they built up crumbles, all right? I am a firm believer that you do get what's coming to you, all right? If you build yourself in the wrong way, build yourself up in the wrong way, have the wrong characteristics in life, have greed fill your mind, have lust fill your mind, have a lot of these things that really cloud your mind that aren't good for you, you will fall. That is how it is. This is for any content creator, any celebrity, any person, to be honest with you, really. The power of cancel culture is a scary thing, all right? And I ain't gonna lie, like, if you get what's coming to you, you pretty much kind of deserve it. And hopefully you use that experience or that situation that happened in your life to grow from it. Because here's the thing is that you can't expect everything to go your way all the time. All right, especially if you're doing wrong, because here's the thing. If you're doing wrong, you're bound to crumble and fall. If you build your castle out of sand and your pillars out of sand, they're going to fall. There's going to be a wave hit it, and most likely that will be cancel culture. All right, that's kind of how it is. Sometimes it's not even just cancel culture. It's just other people realizing, this isn't a person I want to be around or follow anymore, for example, or see or idolize, something like that. And a question I want to ask you, pretty much as in yourself, because I'm sure a lot of people have done this, is like anyone who's participated in trying to cancel this certain person or situation, do you stoop down to that person's level when you do it? See, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you stoop to the same level the person you're going after is at, you're no different than that person. And a lot of people think, well, it's okay because he's getting he or her are getting their own taste of their own medicine. And it's like, no, it's not okay. Here's the thing I learned in a book, actually. It's about, it's Character Matters again. I read a section on meekness, and I might even touch on meekness a lot here. But meekness is to basically, even if you have the power to do something like this, crazy power inside of you, you don't use it and you're submissive about it. And that's actually a very good characteristic to have. And so if you're meek about how you are, for example, so if you try to get even, it's not going to be good. We as humans cannot handle vengeance right. That's just how it is. That's how I believe. All right. We cannot handle vengeance right. And that's why I feel like vengeance is a terrible thing to even, get upon somebody. Revenge, anything like that. We as humans are incapable of vengeance. All right. It's not for us to do. That's why you see anything about revenge and vengeance is bad, because it is. Any form of it is. All right. It's not your place to commit this revenge or vengeance. All right. We are humans. All right. This is where you leave it up to God, or you leave it up to life to take that natural course of taking that vengeance for you. Because here's the thing. We as people cannot do that. People are the wrong things to put vengeance in. So I want to ask you again, are you stooping down to this person's level that you are going straight after? Can I tell you something as well, by the way? If you stoop to the same level that this person's going towards, you could very well be the next person inside that cancel culture mess that everyone's going after. Why stoop down to their level? Because just like I believe everyone gets what's coming to them, you'll get what's coming to you for stooping down to that level. Just because someone kicks you in the shin does not mean you kick them in the shin back. That's where you let God or life kick them in the shin for what they've done, because they are the capability of it is way better in that aspect, because we don't have that capability of vengeance. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of similar to the Salem witch trials. For any of you who don't know what the Salem witch trials is, it's basically where witches were like a popular thing. All right, it wasn't a very good thing. They were very infamous, and so if someone were to be called a witch, they would be instantly like questioned, like an instant, like they had a very high chance of being lynched, for example. I'm not trying to hide away from that, but they would kill people just from basically being called a witch. And believe it or not, people lied during this thing. So a lot of innocent people had died being accused of being a witch when they never were. And that's the next thing I want to talk about with cancel culture, is that just like the Salem witch trials, you could easily be killing somebody who's innocent. Now, I'm not saying literally killing somebody. Don't get me wrong, all right? That's like a very low chance of that happening in this case, but you're killing somebody metaphorically, ruining their career, watching it snap to dust. You cannot believe everything you hear. And a lot of the times with cancel cultures, it's more of I've seen a more of a he said, she said, rather than a full-on investigation, a full-on, hey, listen, I found this information. It's not facts. That's the problem. And so when something's not factual, how are you able to prove it right when you just assume? If you go with the flow with these kinds of people, you're not going to get to a very good place. It's the same thing of like throwing allegations out and then everyone's blindly believing them. You should not blindly believe everything you hear. I mean, I think this is a golden rule for anybody on the internet. If you blindly listen to whatever you hear, don't fact check anything. Don't look in through anything. Like, listen, you have to look through something to fully understand it. If you blindly believe something just because someone else said it, you're not listening. You may even be in this mentality of a hive mind mentality, which I'll touch on that a little bit later. But you're not thinking for yourself. Is there somebody that really did not deserve what they got that you can think of because someone lied about them? Here's the thing. A lot of the times I hear allegations and stuff, and people will say, oh, I was just lying. But you know what doesn't stick? The truth. And so when you look up this person's name who was lied about, all you see is this person did that, this person did that. The damage has already been done. Like I mentioned in Bandwagon, and I'm not going to touch on Bandwagon yet, or a little bit, but I'll do it later after this. But once you're on that train that hits a lot of people, it doesn't stop. You can't repair it. You can repair little bits and pieces of it, but how are you going to actually save that person's career? You already ruined it. It's about being meek. Just because you have the power to destroy somebody doesn't mean you should use it, because here's the thing is that if you're consumed with your power, you will ultimately fail. The way I think you can grow from this is don't believe everything you hear. Think for yourself. Here's the thing. Thinking for yourself is one of the best things you can do. But don't blindly believe somebody just because they said, oh, this person did it. Because let's be honest with you. For the most part, they didn't. We'll take, for example, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp lost his career basically because of an allegation that his, I think, wife made. But it turns out his wife was the abusive one. Crazy, right? Everybody was hating Johnny Depp, and then when they found out Johnny Depp wasn't, they were like, oh, snap, no, let's back it up. Instead of waiting. You have to wait as well. I feel like a lot of people don't get this, but like the moment you jump on a hate trend, and then you put your damage into it, you can't just undo it and go, whoa, I'm sorry, I messed up. Now, here's the thing, though. You can apologize and say, I messed up. I was wrong. When you say that, that's understandable, all right? Everyone's a human. You may get into the human instinct of, all right, I'm going to jump on this because everyone's talking about it. I need to get into it, And, maybe you don't realize that what you're doing is bad. And that's fine. Listen, we're human, all right? I'm not expecting anybody to be perfect, but here's the thing is that your damage is already done. The last two things I talked about within cancel culture here were basically Cancel culture with an action. But this one I want to talk about is your heart. Where's your heart at? Because here's the thing is that a lot of the times, sometimes we're quiet people. Sometimes the quiet people are still believing in this. They have cancel culture inside their hearts. So what they'll do is they'll sit there and they're like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to it. But how did you feel in your heart about it? Because your heart is actually a crucial thing. Just because you don't say something, just because you don't, do anything or have an action towards it, how you feel in your heart is mainly where you're coming from. Your heart's more like your core. So you can't just sit there and say, well, I didn't act on anything. I didn't say anything. So how could I still push towards this cancel culture? And that's how you feel in your heart. I mean, do you love people? Are you meek towards them? Like, how do you feel? Because actions may not be your problem, because your heart is where you do. Like I mentioned in Ward, you have to guard your heart, because here's the thing is that the very thing you do flows through it. It's a heart thing. If you're wondering why you can't change or why you have problems changing when you're not committing any actions that are bad, you're not saying anything that's bad, but you're still doing wrong, it's because of the fact that your heart hasn't changed. If you don't change how your heart is, you're going to still keep making the same mistakes. Do you have an unbound hate for somebody just because somebody either threw out a lie or threw out an accusation to somebody? Do you have a blind, maybe not even a blind hate, but an angry hate because you know what this person did and it's proof that they did it? Are you going to let that anger stop you, drag you down, chain you up, and then keep you down? The way you can grow from this is you have to realize this, all right? And I think a good sense of meekness should come from this. I recently learned what meek was this last week, and honestly, it's a great thing. It's kind of like how Jesus is, a person who is very forgiving of other people and has the power to literally crush and snap people's bones. All right, listen. I wouldn't say Jesus can. I mean, well, if Jesus could heal people, all right, I'm pretty sure he had the power to do the opposite, but he never did it. All right, he never condemned, he never judged anybody. And I feel like a lot of the times is that, like, we don't think like that. You know what I mean? We think of, all right, blood first, questions later. And I think that's screwed up. That's screwed up with anything. Cancel culture to me is like a plague to society. And that's just how I feel like it is. Don't get me wrong. People do need to be put in their place when they need to be put in their place. All right. People need to get what's coming to them, and that'll happen, but it's not up to you, and it's not up to me. A lot of the times, we want to make it up to us. All right, it's our job, but here's the thing is that you don't need to do that. The thing I found out is when I decide to do things myself, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I can't handle this. I got to say something about it. I end up doing worse than better. And that's how it is for anybody, by the way. Listen, here's the thing. Typically, when we try to do something ourselves, we typically do worse than better. Now, I'm not saying you should not try and do something, but here's the thing is at the moment you try to do something in an angry act, you're probably not thinking right. So I want to touch on the hive mind mentality as well, is that, if you haven't seen the bandwagon one, I'll explain it. But the hive mind mentality basically is like everybody thinks the same. It's kind of like an echo chamber. You're kind of locked inside yourself, and you only hear the words that you say and bounce around inside your little dome that you surround yourself in. And so basically that's how it is. And if you end up disagreeing with the hive mind mentality that you've basically been inside of, they're going to push you away and push you out, or even just accuse you of something you didn't do. That is not a healthy thing to be in. It's not healthy to be a mob. Having a mob mentality is terrible. It is, because what you're thinking is destruction instead of growth. See, the thing is that people, as who we are as people, we need to strive for growth, not destruction. Don't get me wrong. Yes, the evil will always be destroyed in some certain way. All right, I believe that. All right, but here's the thing as well, is that you cannot be the mob that takes them out. Don't be the mob that takes them out. That's not a good heart about things. All right, and I get it. There's always gonna be someone like that. And that's fine. Listen, it's just life. But it doesn't mean that it's your job to do something about it. A lot of times when we say, it's my job, I got to do something about it, we tend to take things into our own matters, and it just messes up. In a way, is even as Christians, when we say, oh, I'll take this into my own matters, typically we're basically saying, hey, God, you know what? You don't know what you're talking about, dog. I'm going to do my own thing. That's what we do. I've done it a couple times. I've actually noticed, I've picked up now when I've noticed I've been angry and I've been tempted to do an action, and I'm like, nope, dial back, dial back, dial back. I think one of the coolest things too is every time I do a Wisdom Wednesday, I keep seeing a Toby Mac like speak life thing, and it said this. It was like, if you prayed for people more than talked behind their back, good would actually come from it. So pray for people. Listen, if you're wondering, well, how do I even help this person? Just pray for them, man. Listen, prayers go a long way, man. That's just how I am. It's been great for me as a Christian, because in my personal belief, and this is just how I feel. Not just how I feel, but I know God answers prayers. But here's the thing too, is it's your mentality on things as well. I want to tell you though, if you're in a group of people who can't handle an opposition of opinion in a calm manner, you probably don't need to be friends with those people. And here's the thing, a lot of these people are growing these days, by the way. And a thing I want to talk about that's kind of crazy is that, everyone kind of refers to the cancel culture group as the loudest group. And to be honest with you, yes, vocally and talkatively, cancel culture is a pretty loud group. It's had less power over the years, which makes me happy, but it's still there. And here's the thing is that I do believe actions are always louder than words. The only problem is a lot of people have one ear plugged in and the other one unplugged, and they only hear from the right side of the ear rather than the left as well. So they only hear from the right side of the ear. So they automatically think that, oh yes, our way is the only way. So if you disagree with our way, you're getting cancel cultured. That's just how it is. Here's my opinion is that, somebody's actions speak way louder than their words. How someone reacts into a certain situation means a lot to me as a person. Here's the thing, it should mean a lot to you as a person as well. When someone gets angry and posts a Twitter rant, do you think that that person's very respectable of another person when it comes to another thing? When someone wants to stick their 2 cents and decide something just to think that they're making a difference in the world, but actually they're making it worse, that to me speaks loud, because they're saying something and out of an action of anger, and to me that speaks loud in a bad way. What speaks even more louder, but is always the quiet one that no one sees, is meekness. It's being able to sit still. It's being able to, say, listen, I have the power to say something about this and ruin this, but it's not my place to do so. I've had a couple friends actually, struggle with the aspect of, should I fight back? No, you shouldn't fight back. Here's the thing. Depending on certain situations, you shouldn't fight back. There's some okay things that you should fight back against them, but let's say, for example, you were accused. All right, you were accused of something you did not do. All right, and you're scared and worried, but you just don't know what to do. And here's the thing is that I believe time tells its answers. All right, your words probably won't affect it. Here's the thing too is that maybe this person that accused you of this wants you to make an opposition so that you guys can go at it. You never know. Listen, because at that point, if you get that opposition, you may stoop down to the same level this person went after you on. You never know. That's why it's good to stay back and let time tell the answer. Because here's the thing, actions will always prove the answer. Now, if you're a bad character and have bad characteristics, yeah, you're kind of in your situation for a reason. You need to fix yourself at that point. But if you're a good person that just got thrown into something very bad and didn't expect it to happen to you, or got something worse than you needed, then at that point you just need to improve on your actions. All right, don't fight back. Here's the thing, if you fight back, it's probably stooping down to their level. Don't ever stoop down to somebody's level. This is mainly for the people who are in the aspect of been lied about and stuff. The way you act towards people and the way you are shines way brighter. I know I've seen a couple of people who were nice, all right, and who were great people, who have been accused of nothing, like of being wrong or wronging somebody, and it not being true. It's crazy. The internet's pretty vicious, I ain't gonna lie. But here's the thing is that I've seen it happen too, though. I've seen it happen to where someone had been accused like that, and they've grown. Because their character grew. What happened to them grew. They grew as a person. If you grow as a person and grow further in your life, grow better, Grow better from the situation. Don't react to the same situation that they're trying to get you to react the same way about. They're trying to get you to get under their level, all right? They're trying to get you down to where they are so that they can benefit off of you. It's kind of like a web in a way, too, if you think of it. You know, when someone accuses you, that's a trap. All right, that's a trap to say, oh, I got to defend myself. But here's the thing, though, is if it's not true, why should you care? And I've come to terms with realizing this, is that a lot of people are going to lie. And they're going to probably accuse you of something you've never done. At that point, time will tell. Listen, here's the way your actions are compared to the other person's actions will shine bright. It will shine bright. I felt like I needed to say that. So whoever needed that, mad plus to you, homie. I don't know who you are. A big throwback to my bandwagon episode. I really wanted to touch on that some more. If you haven't seen my bandwagon episode, it's WhizDum Wednesday Wagon. And I talk about the various bandwagons you can jump on, for example. Like I mentioned drama. I mentioned politics. There was a bunch of it. One of the big ones I was thinking of is the hive mind mentality bandwagon, where basically, you know, your wagon's done a lot of damage already. I touched a little bit of cancel culture, and here's the thing, is that you don't realize the magnitude cancel culture has on a lot of people. Their whole careers could be ruined just because of that. And here's the thing, an employer probably won't hire them because they could do a simple Google search and see all these bad things about them, and then find out that, you know, all these are fake and they're not real, but I've been accused. Not only that, you destroyed their chances of redeeming a life that they could have redeemed. Sometimes people don't even know they do the things that are wrong, by the way, as well. We have to be understanding of that. And yes, some people do things wrong that are bad. And I do feel like everyone should have this ability to change, all right? A big thing I want to bring up from my bandwagon episode was this. You know, you can join in on these wagons, these cancel cultures, these witch hunts. And, you know, I would like to say that witch hunt is more of a centered, narrow bandwagon. It's more of a bandwagon of destruction. Now, there's some cool bandwagons, like I mentioned, like memes. There's some cool stuff with memes, but here's the thing. Witch hunt is specifically to destroy. All right, when these mobs got into witch hunts back in the days, all right, their whole intent was either drive them out of the city or kill them. That was the main intent. And here's the thing too, is that, you know, with these witch hunts, how do you know the group that you're doing a witch hunt with won't sit there and say, this person's a witch, this person right here is evil, they're a bad person, when you're typically not. All right, maybe you've done a couple wrong things, but you didn't do the things they said they did, and they all turn on you. That's the same thing with jumping on a bandwagon to destroy somebody else online, or destroy somebody's whole entire career just because you want to get a group of people together to go after them. The very group that was praising you for taking down such an evil person could be that very same group that goes after you and praises other people for taking you down. It's some crazy stuff. Listen, we live in a world where meekness isn't a real thing. And I kind of read the book. And this book just really opens my eyes to a lot of stuff, like especially when it came to meekness. We need to understand that, yes, we as people have a lot of power. All right, I get it. We have a lot of power. But it's not in our place to destroy someone's life. It's not. If you think with a violent mind, you're going to have violent things probably happen to you. Now, don't get me wrong, by the way. Here's the thing. And this is to help grow for anyone who's been in this situation, is that, yeah, there's some innocent people who get witch hunted. There is. And here's the thing, is that a lot of the times in our lives, we go through things that we have to grow. So I'm not saying that to prevent the things that we need to grow from, you know, that's up to God in life. You know what I mean? We don't control that. But if we have a certain situation that we grow from, it's going to happen. But if we can prevent the bad things from happening before they start and fix other people's lives, help people realize in the right way, hey, this is wrong, because some people don't realize things are wrong. We need to grow from something like this. Don't be a part of witch hunts. So I'd like to do a little recap. This is probably going to be another short kind of Wisdom Wednesday. I say short, but it's going to be like 30 minutes long. But a thing I want you to remember is, like, you have to be careful not jumping in with cancel culture. Cancel culture is a toxic, and it's a plague, in my opinion, to society. What it is it's not meekness at all. Meekness is a character we all need. All right, we need a characteristic that we need of meekness, but we have leaders and we have people in our lives that do not have that. They don't have this, I have the power to crush and destroy you, but I'm not going to use it on you like that. My goal is to help you grow. See, people need to have that mentality, but we're losing this character mentality day in day. We're losing character. I mean, how many people you think politics affect, all right? And I know I bring up politics quite a bit, but that's the thing I keep seeing recently, especially with all the political stuff going on Twitter and stuff. Why? I've seen a lot of people sit there and say, if you vote for this person, get off my timeline, stuff like that. And I'm just like, why are you saying these things? In my opinion, you have a mental witch hunt inside your mind and your heart, as in you don't really like this person, so you want them taken down. Anger can corrupt your mind and heart. I get it, but you don't need to go after these people. Don't stoop down to their level. And here's the thing too, is that, listen, I'm gonna bring. I know I said I was gonna recap, but here's the recap now. I felt like I had to put the other part in there. The witch being caught. Here's the thing, is that, as I mentioned before, I do agree. People get what's coming to them, but don't stoop down to their level. Don't. Here's the thing. You have to be meek in this, all right? You stoop down to their level, we cannot comprehend vengeance, all right? We can't. Vengeance is not a thing for us humans to deliver. Because in our hands, vengeance is terrible. Vengeance won't work right. Vengeance won't be a good thing. It's not for us to do. If you believe in karma, karma's a good example of, hey, listen, let karma handle it. Let God handle it. Hold back your anger. Don't be a part of the destruction that happens to them. Now don't even look at the destruction, if anything. If it brings you pleasure, don't look at the destruction. A thing from the Bible that I've always kind of liked is that part with Noah and his family. God told them basically, do not look back when I burn this whole place down, because God could not find 10 righteous men or women in this city. I think it was Sodom and Gomorrah. He told Noah's family, do not look back. Don't look back at the destruction. And so they didn't. They blindfolded themselves basically and kept walking while meteors crashed into it. And another guy, I think his name was Lot. Yeah, Lot and his wife. Lot's wife turned around and looked right at it. Was blessed. She was pleasured. She loved the fact that they were all dying, and then she turned into stone. That to me is an example of, if you take pleasure in somebody falling, crumbling because of what they deserved, you may end up turning yourself into stone. Maybe not even just stone as a person, but in your heart. Your heart might turn into stone because of that. That was supposed to be a recap on heart, but you know what? I'm just gonna talk about random stuff now. I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. All right, so lying is another thing. Like I mentioned with the Salem witch trials. Here's the thing: is that innocent people could be losing their careers, their lives, metaphorically though, but you could be a part of that. You could have voted for, hey, listen, this person's a witch, we don't want them, you know what I mean? When they were never one in the first place. Just because an allegation arose, someone's career crumbled. Watch out for these kinds of things. Don't believe everything you hear, by the way. Do not believe everything you hear. Do your own research. And even in that, don't always believe it. It just depends. Like, you need to have full-on confirmation before you jump onto a bandwagon like that. Because if you jump in on it, you're going to probably be a part of a destruction of somebody innocent. And the last thing is your heart. Listen, here's the thing, is that I mentioned with Sodom and Gomorrah. Your heart is a thing that really will show who you are as a person. You may not commit an action. You may not even say anything. But it could be the way you're looking at stuff. You could be like Lot's wife, turning around, being like ecstatic and happy that these people who did bad to you so long are burning at the stakes. You know what I mean? They're burning, they're on fire. But you could be your ultimate downfall from that as well. Turns your heart to stone. You don't have to commit an action. You don't have to say a word, but if you feel it in your heart, you're still committing that in your mind. You're still wanting it to happen. It's just as bad as the people committing actions towards these other people when it comes to a witch hunt. How you feel towards the people that are in these positions is a good example of how you are, how you would act anyway. I'd say it's just an action from behind the scenes, if anything. Watch your heart. Listen, you gotta be forgiving. Meekness is one of the best things that you can have, and I recommend trying to be more meek with people. Just because you have the power to do something doesn't mean you should. Don't see through the eyes of destruction. See through the eyes of peacefulness, meekness. Seriously, here's the thing, is that a lot of people think, well, here's the thing, well, we gotta fight back. Here's the thing, is that sometimes, when you have the power to fight back and destroy somebody else completely, you probably shouldn't use that power like that. Because then at that point, you think in a destructive, tyrannic brain. You don't want to have a tyranny inside your mind and inside your heart. Or a dictatorship inside your mind or heart. Using power for bad is not good. It's okay to defend yourself, but don't go to the point to where you destroy somebody else to do it. There was a concept as well, and I kind of feel like we should all be like this. There are little cubs that are fighting each other. They're little lion cubs. They're fighting each other, but their teeth aren't growing in or anything. They're gnawing at each other, biting each other, and the mother, with the ability to snap their necks, puts her mouth around their neck, picks them up very calmly, and drops them down. That's meekness right there. And remember, meekness isn't weakness. It's the strength to deny yourself of this power and to not be a powerful person, to not use it against others to hurt others. And remember, just because you're on a bandwagon of hate doesn't mean they won't turn on you in an instant. Someone can instantly blame you for being a witch, and guess what? Your whole career is done for. Not even your career, but maybe your life. Don't partake in witch hunts, because one of these days you even may be hunted. I hope you all enjoyed that little segment right there. I kind of felt like that was on my mind. I don't know if anyone needed to hear that, but I just felt some of these things were on my heart, and I felt like someone needs to hear that, or maybe not even just hear that, but kind of reinforce their heart so they don't end up falling into these positions of these other people in life. Here's the thing, is that yes, I know cancel culture is still going to be a thing even after making this, but as long as I can keep one person from either being consumed by something like that or contributing to it, I think that's a good thing for me. So anyway, I have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. They're all Sir Derpy Creeper, and I hope you could check them out. Spotify and SoundCloud are also WhizDum Wednesday and Sir Derpy Creeper, so please check them out on there. I would love to see some people on SoundCloud and Spotify. That'd be really cool. I've got 5 followers on Spotify, so big plus. But I'll put links in the description on the YouTube video if you guys want to see it. I'll even put it on SoundCloud, and it should be on Spotify as well. I'm not really sure. And I've also got YouTube. So YouTube is Sir Derpy Creeper. I've got over 600 something subscribers, where all of my podcasts go, and you get to see a nice little picture of it as well when you're watching it. So that's pretty rad in my opinion. But go check it out. It's pretty cool. I post highlights on there from streams as well, and it's really fun to just make some highlight streams. They're pretty awesome. And I have Twitch, which is twitch.tv/SirDerpyCreeper. I basically talk about, well, I live stream these videos that I do right here, these audio segments, and we talk about it in chat afterwards. It's very fun to talk about. I really enjoy it. It's sometimes I get myself a good part, like sometimes I get myself a good understanding and a good new perspective swap sometimes when it comes to it. And so it's a good thing to learn, and I'm really a big fan of hearing other people's perspectives on things. So I'm really excited to see if I get any other perspectives on witch hunt here. So if you have any feedback, please let me know. Contact me through any of the social medias that I mentioned. It would be really cool to hear from anybody. I would love to hear if I touched on something wrong, if I did something really right that I need to start, practicing on. Please tell me. I would love to know. And I hope this was able to make a whiz out of you making wise decisions and to steam them up to make them even better. Remember, just because you have the power to do something doesn't mean you should be wrathful with it. You should go after and hurt somebody. Be meek with other people. Meekness is a main thing in your life that you're going to need. Don't partake in these witch hunts. Until next Wisdom Wednesday, I'm Sir Derpy Creeper, and I'll see you next week. Have a great rest of the week.